we have a banner that is a pledge against bullying. If you have a minute, come on down, sign our banner, and when we're done at the end of the day, we're going to have over 300 signatures on it.
I want to wish everybody a good morning. My name is Dave Lichty, and on behalf of the Bolingbrook High School Parents and Teachers Association, welcome to the Stand Up and Speak Out Against Bullying Rally and Run Walk. As the PTA, we remain committed to supporting the educational programs of our schools, but as any teacher can tell you, those programs are only effective when our students enjoy a safe learning environment. And one of the most serious threats to that environment is the presence of what we have come to call bullying. And that's what brings us all here today. By making us all aware of what bullying is, by learning how we can correct this problem, and by encouraging us all to take action by standing up and speaking out, we hope to address this problem in a thoughtful and effective manner. For our first speaker, I would like to introduce Congressman Bill Foster.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction, and I want to thank all of you for inviting me here to join you today. And I'd like to extend a special thanks to Colleen Dowdy, who was responsible for organizing this event, and a special hello to State Rep. Natalie Natalie. Say hi, Natalie. Who's doing a great part of education and a volunteer working on the event. I am really very pleased to see the wonderful turnout here and to see all of you joining the effort to combat what is a prevalent and distressing force in our community and throughout the nation, that is bullying. And I would also especially like to thank the Bolingbrook Parent Teacher Association for inviting me to speak today, as well as for their dedication to ending bullying in our community. You in the PTA, as most of all, know how important it is to be engaged in the lives of our children. I'm proud to have raised two kids of my own, Billy and Christine, and it's true that as they got older, it can be much more difficult to know what's going on in your kids' life. They become tight-lipped as they explore what it means to become an adult. But as hard as it may be sometimes, it's vital that parents and teachers stay engaged in their lives and try to notice if their behavior changes and to keep checking up with them to make sure that they're still doing okay. As a scientist and businessman, I know the value of an education in building a bright future, but I also know that it can be hard for kids to focus on their studies when they feel unwelcome, unwanted, or unsafe. I'm sure many of you have been hurt by bullying, as I have myself, whether it's in the classroom, in the school cafeteria, or even online. But it's important to know that you are not alone. You can see from the turnout here today that your community cares, and that your family cares, and even the president is concerned about this issue. First Lady Michelle Obama has taken bullying on as a key issue in her time in the White House. In 2010, she hosted the first ever White House conference on bullying prevention, bringing together teachers, advocates, and policymakers to discuss ways in which we can make our schools safer. There's a very good government website called stopbullying.gov that has information for parents and for students. And as much as anything, that tells you that you are not alone when you see bullying taking place, or when you're on either end of bullying, that this is not unique. There's nothing special about your situation. It's a characteristic of humanity that we have to be aware of and we have to prevent. Bullying is not harmless. It is not a rite of passage. It's not just a normal thing that all kids naturally do. It's a deeply damaging act that can ruin lives and can even be deadly. It's important to remind ourselves of the kind of people we want to be, because we are all given a choice. I hope that you will make the choice to reach out to your classmates and students who may be struggling, to approach them with kindness rather than contempt, and to encourage them if they're feeling down. I recognize that standing up and saying stop can be very risky, but it's an important part of becoming a responsible young adult. You know, I grew up to be a 6 foot tall adult male, but as a kid I was a shrimp. And it's almost 50 years ago when I was in grade school, like almost every other kid, I was on the giving and receiving end of bullying. I can still remember almost 50 years ago the names and the faces of the kids who bullied me and the names and the faces of the kids that we bullied. I remember the feeling of shame when we did nothing, and I have a little bit of pride for the times when I actually stood up to stop what wasn't right. So bullying is not a harmless enterprise. It maintains scars that take a long time to heal. And that's why it's important for parents and kids to think about the future and think about the past and think about how to conduct your life in the best way you know how. It's also only as a community, students, parents, teachers, volunteers, community leaders coming together that we can begin to confront the problem of bullying head on. So continue to watch your children. Listen to your classmates, encourage those around you to stand up against bullying. Even one sharp word can sometimes turn a bullying incident from something that will leave a scar for life into something that you can laugh about in a few days. So, to any of you who are struggling in the classroom, or left out of a team gym, or can't find a partner in a lab, as we've all heard, life does get better, and the scars do heal. And if you're this object of bullying, reach out for help immediately when you need it. Find someone you feel comfortable talking to. It can make a huge amount of difference. Just sharing your burden with just one person makes more difference than seems reasonable, but it's a fact of human existence. So thank you again for having me and for all your work to shine a light on this important issue. And please know that I'm a strong supporter of the work that you're doing here, and that I and my staff will always be here to help with your cause. Thank you all.
A little party, a cute nobody.